Hey everyone, my name is Dillon Gonzalez. I am a senior critic for GeekVibesNation.com and also a co-host of the Home Dance Film Festival podcast. I'm here once again with another GVN unboxing video, and I am very excited to be discussing the new Sony Pictures Home Entertainment release of Heavy Metal on 4K Ultra HD. This new limited edition steelbook marks the 4K Ultra HD debut of the original classic Heavy Metal in Dolby Vision and newly created Dolby Atmos audio. It also marks the Blu-ray debut of this animated sequel, Heavy Metal 2000. And I'm going to get into all of the technical aspects in just a little bit, but first I want to show off the package. This new 4K Ultra HD Steelbook comes with a removable J card, which I will show off here. So this is the older Blu-ray that has not been updated. This is the new 4K Ultra HD disc. And this is the Heavy Metal 2000 Blu-ray debut. And as you can see, there is no inner artwork. So for those new to the world of heavy metal, the original animated film is a vignette-style animated odyssey that mixes fantasy, sci-fi, and erotica. And basically how the story begins is that there's this destructive green orb who is telling little chunks of stories to this little girl whose father it has just killed, about people it has come into contact with, and this allows the story to kind of take on many different tones and kind of genres, all within this kind of specific style. I do like the way like the first story is kind of like a noir story. It's set in the future, but like involving a cabbie who gets mixed up with like this kind of femme fatale character who's on the run from just some destructive people. And then it just kind of keeps progressing from there, going in different fantastical science fiction journeys involving creatures, lots of naked women, lots of killing, and it's just like all surrounding this kind of green orb that is telling this story. And it's a lot of fun. It's very male, like testosterone heavy driven storytelling. Like I said, there's so much animated female nudity, people constantly getting like impaled and like decapitated. But if you know what you're getting into, it's a lot of fun. It's like really raw, and the animation is really very beautiful. I love just like that nice classic hand-drawn animation, and it's all set to like some pretty notable rock songs of the time, which really helps enhance the mood and just like get you into that kind of headspace. This new disc, it comes with a new Dolby Vision transfer, which I will say right up top, I have never owned this movie before, but I have seen it about probably 15 years ago, so I can't judge on how big of like a jump in picture quality it is, but I can say that the Dolby Vision transfer is stunning, as is typical for a Sony Dolby Vision transfer. There's pretty much no kind of print damage or film damage. The Dolby Vision transfer, the colors I wouldn't say are overblown, or they're very natural to the animation style. They're very deep, and they just like have a lot of nuance. And then the newly created Dolby Atmos soundtrack, it also sounds really great, but don't fret for purists. There is the original 2.0 stereo soundtrack, as well as a 5.1 version of the new 2022 soundtrack that's with the Dolby Atmos. But I viewed it mostly with Dolby Atmos, and it sounded incredible. But I did spot check the 2.0 stereo soundtrack, and it also sounds really nice. So no matter what choice you go with, you're really getting a lot of bang for your buck. It also comes, the 4K disc comes with a new featurette that I kind of skimmed through, but it's basically a new retrospective piece where you do have the late Ivan Reitman discussing the movie along with famous fans like Kevin Smith and Norman Reedus. So it's a pretty fun piece that I look forward to getting into a little bit more when I write my review for the website. And so yeah, the new 4K presentation of Heavy Metal is really great. Sony really knocked it out of the park, and people who are fans of the movie will be over the moon, really. It's a great transfer. You couldn't ask for better. The Blu-ray debut of Heavy Metal 2000, I will start just kind of with the story. It kind of disappointed me because I'd never seen this movie before, but it kind of abandons the vignette approach and just goes for one singular story that, while a little bit shorter at like a little under 90 minutes, is shorter than the first movie but feels longer because it tells one story that's kind of straightforward of a supreme being who is trying to achieve more immortality, who wrecks this kind of peaceful planet, and then one of the female survivors wants to get revenge, so she tries to stop this figure from gaining immortality, and it's kind of just like a space adventure from there. It kind of tones down the like erotic overtones, and like there is still quite a bit of nudity, but not as much as the first movie, and even the violence is not as visceral, I would say. I think the big misstep for this one, aside from just the not having the vignette approach, which if you were bored with any one story in the original film, you knew that probably within 10 to 15 minutes it would be over. This kind of just sustains throughout. But my main issue with Heavy Metal 2000 is that it introduces elements of computer animation, digital animation, to supplement some of the hand-drawn animation, which is quite a bummer because getting into the transfer, those are the elements that definitely do not hold up as well. Whereas hand-drawn animation, you can like spiff it up and make it look really great. And from a modern perspective, the computer animated portions just they really stand out and they look dated. Now, it's not a deal breaker. The movie is still entertaining enough, but you can just tell that those digital elements, they really kind of tarnish the aesthetic of the movie, which already doesn't have quite the same detail and nuance as the original animation, which, having something almost 20 years afterwards, you would hope would be like a step up, but the animation is just like a step back overall. The story itself, it's not the most inventive. It's an entertaining enough story, but I really would have preferred the vignette approach. But the new transfer, especially when you're talking about the 2D animation, it looks really great. I will say there probably is like a little bit of light banding in the background in some scenes, but it's not like a pervasive issue, but it is worth noting. I just think that it's probably an issue with the source material. They did the best they could. It still looks really great, and for the film never having a Blu-ray before, fans will finally be able to have this all in one package, finally have it in high definition, because it is a movie that is worth owning in high definition. It's just not to the level of the original. But the 5.1 soundtrack, it sounds really great. I do not particularly care for the music that like the new songs that they had for this version as well. But the score is really great. I really enjoyed the score on this one, and the 5.1 soundtrack sounds really great. From what I can tell, it carries over the few legacy features that were on the DVD. There are about 4 featurettes on here that are pretty brief, but they are here. And then finally, the Blu-ray that is included in this is, from what I can tell, the original Blu-ray release of Heavy Metal. It boots up with the old, like, this is what Blu-ray is intro, and then it has kind of the old standard menu that were on older Blu-rays. So anyone looking for a newly remastered Blu-ray, I think they're out of luck. But the 4K presentation of the original is great. It's great to have the new Heavy Metal 2000 on Blu-ray. So overall, this is a fantastic package that fans will really appreciate. So I would highly encourage anyone to pick up this release, especially since the steelbooks are usually pretty limited edition and probably won't be around for longer than probably 4 or 5 months. So I would pick it up sooner rather than later so you don't miss out, because you don't know if Heavy Metal 2000 will be included if they re-release this, or if you'll have to buy it separately. So this is a pretty good bang for your buck. Highly recommended. So yes, if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate you leaving a comment, liking, subscribing to the channel, because like I said, I hope to be doing more of these in the future, and I really appreciate you tuning in. Thank you.